You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado, free smoke. Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver, pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga, that's what we do. No foundation, we don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win, so I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much of how you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steered. My sound not dictated by fuckboys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa Bars forever, like they decided to throw me under Slammer.
One game away. Blow up. We playing for something, man. We playing for something. This gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
Welcome back to the channel. Yo, I'm gonna be honest, yo. I'm gonna be very honest right now. It's gonna be moments throughout this show where it's gonna be like, so when I go on break tonight, when we observe a break, when I just be rambling and shit, the quality might start to get a little shaky, because I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sit back in my chair, I'm gonna lean back in my chair, and I'm gonna take in all the air that my fan is giving off. Alright? And I try to talk loud when I'm doing that. But I'm gonna be doing that because let me talk to you for a second. It has been hot as fuck outside the last couple. Listen, I'm talking about, I walk outside and if I'm out there moving around for longer than 5 seconds, I'm drenched in sweat. As if I just played a whole fucking basketball game, no breaks. I'm sweating a swimming pool. And I hate that. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that. So, when I finally get into a cooled environment where it's not a situation of I'm so fucking hot that now I step into this environment, I'm freezing, but it's only because I was just so excuse me. But it's only because I was just so hot, and I appreciate this coldness because I hate being, and I really don't understand how people who love the summertime love this shit. Like, bro, it was like 9 o'clock at night. It was still 80 degrees. 80 degrees at night, cuh? Like, you can't be serious, bro. Like, how do y'all enjoy this? Growing up, I enjoyed the summertime. The summertime was never this hot. And if it was, I do not remember it being this hot. But when I started to get a little bit older, and it felt like the summertime started to get way hotter, and the winter times, I done had a couple winters in the past couple years that feel like they done got outrageously cold. But the last couple summers, bruh, it feel like it's touching 100 degrees and just sitting there. No wind blowing, the humidity makes it feel hotter than it actually is most of the time. So imagine it being 100 degrees and you walking outside, and because of the humidity, you like, damn, bro, it feel like it's 150 degrees out here. And somebody be like, oh no, it's just the humidity make it feel hotter. And you like, well, how hot is it really? And they look at their thing and say, 100. What? Like, come on, man. This is madness. And people like, oh, I like going to the beach because, you know, the water cool you off. Bro, after you in that water for a while, that shit become a frying pan. Or, a pot on the oven stewing, bruh. That water ain't cold throughout the whole time you sitting out there frying. Like, come on, man. Like, It is so fucking hot. I don't know how people enjoy this weather. But my setup tonight, oh my goodness. Like, watch, I'm finna do it right now. Right now, I am sitting back, taking in all this good air. I'm taking it all in. That feels amazing. But we got a lot of shit to talk about tonight. A lot of shit to talk about tonight. A lot of shit. Hey, I just want to say to all my potheads out there, if you're a big time pothead, do not move to North Carolina. But now that we got that out of the way, yeah, I've been trying to get over this sickness for like 4 or 5 fucking days. If you saw the title of the video or the show tonight, which I'm pretty sure you did, we is talking about that shit. Nobody wins alone. We are talking about that shit tonight. So, yo, the Warriors, they up 3-2 in the series. Series headed back to Boston. I pray that these motherfuckers close it out in Boston. Don't need a game 7. Really don't. But I want to talk about, I don't really want to talk about the game. Actually, real quick to talk about that. I do want to talk about the game real quick. Shout out to Andrew Wiggins, who done been great in this series. Not necessarily great scoring wise, but he done been good, giving us, necessary buckets here and there. Great defensively. That's really great defensively. Been a great rebounder these last couple of games. And shout out to all the Warriors that fucking stepped up last night. When Curry finally had a rough shooting performance, bruh, they finally showed up and helped my guy out. So I appreciate the Warriors for that. But I gotta talk about something, bro. The sports media, and we talk about this, I talk about this all the time, bro, but the sports media is a problem. Sports media is a problem. The fact that today, when I watched a lot of these different shows, snippets of these shows, and different segments of these shows, it's like, you might listen to me and you might think, man, this dude really hate these motherfuckers. Like, he really don't like these motherfuckers. And to be completely honest with you, at times, I don't know if it's I just don't like what they be saying, or if it's I don't like neither what they saying or them. It can get skewed at times. I'm not even sure at times, bro. Some of these motherfuckers, to me, like Rob Parker, I don't like the shit he say. But I have to remember, like, I don't know if I would, like, it. The motherfucker say so much coon and shit that it's no way I would like him. But then I look at a motherfucker like Chris Broussard and I'm like, he say a lot of intelligent shit, and I like Chris Broussard, but how in the fuck is he friends with a motherfucker like? It's just so confusing. But listen, you gotta talk about something, bro, because the sports media, man, like I said, is a problem. And I don't hate these motherfuckers or nothing like that. I just don't like what they are allowed to get on TV and do. When you have a platform like this, not even their own platforms, it's platforms provided to them by these networks. When you've given these type of platforms and you're given the responsibility to talk about sports and inform people on sports to the public, it should be some type of responsibility to come with that. And I just don't think there is. Maybe it used to be a standard or something like that, but it's just no standard, it's no nothing. It's like I said before, Kevin Durant said it best. Anybody can do Nick Wright's job, and that just ain't exclusive to Nick Wright. Nick Wright, Max Kellerman, Skip Bayless, Marcellus Wiley, all these goofs. And when you have these platforms and you have all these viewers watching, and you get to just sit on TV and spew off some of this stupid nonsense that these motherfuckers spew with no repercussions. They don't get checked for these takes. They don't have to answer to nobody for these dumbass takes. Because, what they get to hide behind is these are just our opinions. These are educated opinions, and we're using facts and blah, blah, blah to go. When we gonna get past that, man? At what point in time do an opinion become so fucking stupid that somebody step in and say, alright, bruh, I understand these are your opinions, but this is out of control. We can't do this. Like, when does somebody step in and do that? Because, I'm listening to Marcellus Wiley today, right? And this motherfucker basically was going in on Steph Curry for having his teammates. I just want to remind y'all guys also that Steph Curry is leading the league in these playoffs. He has averaged more points in the fourth quarter than everybody in the playoffs. He is the leading scorer in these finals by a landslide. It's not even close. Last night might have helped people get back into range of him, but that didn't change the overall scoring numbers in the series. It dropped his scoring average from 34 to 30. And Steph Curry didn't have a bad game last night because he only had one turnover. He still had a couple rebounds, still had 8 assists, still played a great game, still was able to contribute with his gravity on the floor. He just didn't have a great shooting night. And Steph Curry's teammates, who had struggled all series to hit shots consistently, they finally stepped up last night. And somehow, that is an indictment on Steph Curry. Go listen to Marcellus Wiley talk about this keep happening. So is Steph Curry's, mind y'all, Chris Broussard is great at his job, because I want to say something. For all these games that people continue to want to say, because I'm finna get back to Marcellus Wiley, but I just want to say something real quick. For all these games that people like to bring up for other players, like, Klay Thompson's game 6 against OKC, go look at Curry's points in that game. All right. For all these people who talk about, Iguodala did this and that in the final, go look at Curry's averages in those finals and everything else he did in those finals. Kevin Durant played so good in those series. Go look at Curry's averages in those series with Kevin Durant also. Okay, so this notion that Steph Curry is bad in the playoffs, bad in the finals, other people have to carry him, is just a ridiculous notion. But it's a notion that the media is all right with running with, because they are the ones who create these stupid ass narratives and whatnot. As a child, and when you grow up playing sports, you are always taught team first. Team, team, team. When you play video games, you don't play video games because you want to, you don't pick teams. Now, obviously nowadays we might pick a team because we want to use a player or whatnot. Most of the time we picking teams because we want to use the best teams. You know what I'm saying? When you picking teams in sports, you don't pick the sorriest players on the team. You don't pick a team full of trash cans. Now, obviously, you got some egomaniacs who do that here and there to try to prove that they can do this and that. But most of the time, people want to play with great players because people love winning in team sports. People understand that you can't do it by yourself. That's why people want to have great teammates. Now, we in a team sport. You was raised in team sports to learn to play as a team, to do everything for the team. And it's so crazy that that's the case. But then when NBA players and athletes want to go play with other great teammates, people get mad at them for this. So, because then they're like, well, you couldn't do it by yourself. What happened to all that team shit? Fuck all that team shit. That's not what our narrative. Now we want to talk about you couldn't do it, but okay. So, in a team sport, these analysts on TV, and not all of them, but a lot of these analysts on TV, they have put in people's head that anytime a dude does something in favor for the team, either it's because he's not good enough, he couldn't do it himself, he had to have the team do it for him, or some other type of nonsense. LeBron, I'm gonna just hold off on that. So I'm listening to Marcellus because it's all tying together still, and he going in on Curry for having his teammates step up. Now, mind you, like I said, these are the same teammates who people been talking about who've been struggling in the finals, and Curry been averaging 30 plus fucking points carrying his team in these finals. But all of that didn't matter. All of those games didn't matter. Everything Curry done in this series didn't matter to Marcellus Wiley anymore. He got on TV and told you none of those games mattered. Only the game in which he struggled mattered. They still won that game because his teammates came to the rescue final. They were able to pick him up like he did for them in Boston the previous game. None of that mattered to Marcellus. Only this game in which Curry struggled. This is why I'm saying the media is a problem. Having dudes on TV who hunt for things like this, who specifically create scenarios to try to go. Because Rob Parker did it on the show he had with Chris Broussard today also, where they create these specific scenarios to try to continuously tarnish and shit on Steph Curry's legacy. I don't understand it, but continuing on. And so none of those games matter. Nothing that Curry done. It's irrelevant that if you take Curry out of this series, they wouldn't be winning this series. They wouldn't even be in this series. If you take Steph Curry out of this series, ignore the fact that the Warriors wouldn't even be in this point if you take Steph off this team. But take him out of this series, the series would have been over in 4 games. But ignore all that. Marcellus getting on TV and saying all the stuff he said today is one of the biggest problems with the media. For one, all the stuff he said was just a bunch of dumb shit. It's comically hilarious how hilariously ignorant he is. But he basically, at the end of the day, was taking shots at Steph Curry for having one bad game in these finals. And it wasn't a bad game. He just didn't shoot the ball the way he shot the ball throughout the entirety of this series so far. And because he's not LeBron James or people, a guy whose narrative they continuously trying to push, obviously you can't. Because I just want y'all to know right now, LeBron James done scored 8 points in a finals loss. So, but neither here nor there. So he got on TV and said all that goofy shit, and basically started taking shots at Steph's legacy and this and that. And it's so funny when I listen to a motherfucker like Shaq get on TV and tell people that Curry is a top 10 player without this MVP, finals MVP, anything like that. And then I can have to get on TV and listen to a former football player who's not a Hall of Famer tell me that a top 10 player all time in the NBA the legacy is tarnished. This is what I'm talking about. But I'm listening to this motherfucker talk, and I'm just like, this is the problem with the media, sports media. Because he can get on TV and do what he just did. He can get on TV and he don't have to mention that Steph Curry just did what Steph Curry has been doing throughout these finals. All he have to get on TV and do to push his narrative is talk about Steph Curry struggling shooting the ball. But let's take it further than that, because not only do he have to get on TV, not only can he just get on TV to push that narrative and only use that sample of that game, but he can dumb it down even further and just point to the shooting and use the shooting to blow up and use that as, oh, he just was so bad everywhere. When he only had 1 turnover, he still had 8 assists, he still had multiple rebounds, he still did a great job at attracting defenders, he still didn't just disappear in the game like Jason Tatum has done and refused to shoot the ball, refused to do anything. But somehow, because Marcellus wanted to push a narrative, because he got some weird disdain for Steph Curry, that of course you know they're going to go, oh, I don't have no problems, I'm unbiased. Yeah, okay, whatever. Because they can look at things like this and be so fucking ignorantly, stupidly ignorant with these takes, he can get on TV and do that. And get paid a hefty price for it. And he can manipulate the whole situation. He don't got to tell you that Steph Curry previously to that game was averaging 35 fucking points in the finals. He don't have to get on TV and tell you that Steph Curry done been by far the best player in this series. He don't have to get on TV and tell you that Andrew Wiggins just scored 26 points. And Lord knows I'm not taking a shot at Andrew Wiggins, When was the last time a player scored 26 points and you said that they just had a massive game? But when was the last time they did it? Because if Steph Curry's finals averages was 26 points and a half going into this finals. The media told me that Steph Curry has been god-awful in the finals. Andrew Wiggins just scored Steph Curry's finals average, and I'm told that Andrew Wiggins could now win the finals MVP by narrative-pushing jackass media, sports media members who get to sit on TV every day and get paid to do this. And I'm so confused as to why these networks don't believe if they were to hire people who were knowledgeable of these sports, who didn't go on TV trying to push a narrative. I don't understand what's the fear in thinking that those type people couldn't get viewers onto the show, that people like that would not be able to entertain us because they don't have to have crazy ass, controversial, stupid ass takes. I don't understand why these networks don't believe that you can put players and people on the shows who want to uplift and show love to athletes instead of these jackasses who you get on TV right now who get to do what Skip Bayless do. Every single turn this man get to disrespect Steph Curry and question that man's legacy. Every single turn, he get to disrespect LeBron James and his legacy. You get a motherfucker like Nick Wright on TV. You get a motherfucker like Max Kellerman on TV. You get a motherfucker like Marcellus Wiley on TV. Like, I just don't. Rob Parker. Like, I don't understand. And while I'm mentioning all these bad analysts, I just want to shout out that dog, Colin Cowherd. Yeah, I know that's my guy, man. I love Colin Cowherd, man. I told you, man. I don't know what it is about Colin, but I know he got that dog in him. But listen, I don't understand why those people, and that's what I'm saying now we're talking about big dog Colin. Look at Colin. Colin don't just get on TV and say outlandish, wild, stupid, goofy shit. He might say shit that you don't like at times and shit, but it's always based in some type of fact or something. He never get on TV and just is trying to drive narratives. He never getting on TV to try to shit on one athlete to uplift another one. He never getting on TV and because Colin was a big LeBron James fan. I've never seen Colin get on TV and try to uplift LeBron by shitting on Steph Curry's legacy. I've never seen Colin get on TV and shit on Kevin Durant to uplift Steph Curry's legacy. And Colin is bigger than all them motherfuckers in my opinion. Shannon Sharp, a notorious LeBron James stan. I'm not going to call him a stan. He's a fan because he can be critical of LeBron. He can heap praise on LeBron. And he's still, Shannon Sharp can toe the line sometimes. But for the most part, Shannon Sharp is not shitting on one athlete to uplift another one. He ain't just going out there blatantly disrespecting athletes, just coming out with outlandish. But yeah, and still you got these, and most of these motherfuckers who ain't even played is the ones who get to get on TV and do it because they got credentials as journalists and all this goofy shit. It's wild to me. Marcellus Wallace getting on TV and doing what he did today is a great example of why at times I just don't have a problem when a certain motherfucker is like, they come up and like, do you know who the fuck I am? Who the fuck are you to say yada 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 to me? Like, I'm not the type of person who like it when motherfuckers try to tell you like I am this so you need to. But in sports, man, I wish these athletes would do that shit, bruh. Like, I really do wish at some point in time Curry would come out and be like, bruh, who the fuck are you to tell me my legacy is shot because my teammates were able to pick me up in a series in which I'm averaging 30 plus fucking points? I've been doing it on both sides of the ball, my boy. What have you ever won in your career? Okay? You up here talking right now because your career didn't last too long, because you, as good as you like to think you was and say you were, you was never one of them dudes, bruh. And you ain't one of them guys, bruh. When people talk about the greatest or the most underrated defensive players of all time, ain't never heard not one of them bring up Marcellus Wiley, bruh. You'll have a hard time finding your highlights on YouTube, bruh. But sure, you can sit here and just say outlandish shit to question my legacy at every single turn. Nick Wright. What the fuck have you ever done with your career, bruh? The other day, I knew the media was out of control, like I said, and I don't know if I uploaded the video in which I told this, but if I did or didn't, I'm telling it again. The other day, the motherfucker told the story about how I saw the show when he compared himself to Draymond's mom, tweeting about Draymond playing bad in the finals. Nick Wright comparing that to his mom, tweeting that he doing bad on this show. The ego. Like, bruh, you being bad on this show, but you are bad on this show. Like, and it's just wild to me that Chris Broussard, such a knowledgeable individual, can get on this fucking show on a routinely basis and sit up there with a goofball like Nick Wright, who continuously acts as if he is right, continuously got some of the most stupid fucking biased narrative pushing takes you can ever have, and Chris done called him out on this shit multiple times. It's just wild to me that and I'm pretty sure that he get paid more than Chris. Just fuck, only in America. But bruh, Draymond playing bad in the finals is nowhere near you being bad on a fucking show. Like, I don't know where you developed the ego to believe that what you are doing is anywhere near, not important, is anywhere near as difficult as what Draymond Green is doing. You ever hear them motherfuckers who always want to come in and shit on athletes when they be like, bro, all you doing is hitting the ball. It ain't like you performing open heart surgery. Bruh, I hate those type motherfuckers. But I'm finna be one of them motherfuckers, bruh. Nick Wright, you're sitting on TV talking about motherfuckers you wanted to be like. Motherfuckers who you could never be. Okay? That's what you're sitting on TV doing. And you're not even doing a good job at that, because you continuously push narratives and try to shit on these dudes who are 10 times better. Like Richard Sherman. These men are better at life than you. Your job is to talk about them. That is nowhere near the same as Draymond Green competing for an NBA championship and struggling in an NBA finals, my guy. It's nowhere near the same. You get motherfuckers like Rob Parker, who most people don't even know who the fuck this man is. The only reason most people know Rob Parker is because he says stupid shit. And he might be trending every once in a while for stupid shit he say. But even then, the man say so much stupid shit, he done just got blocked out. People don't even, but everybody most of the time remember, oh, he the one who said that stupid shit about RG3. And it's so funny to me that motherfucker, looking back on it, could say, is RG3 a brother? Bruh, Rob, nobody's inviting you to our cookouts, my guy. Okay? For one, I just want y'all to know ahead of time, I'm not one of them black dudes or black people who just be inviting all white people to the cookout just because they do something. You know what I'm saying? I get tired of black people who do shit like that. And re-listen to what I just said. Because I know some people going to hear that back and think that I just said, oh, yep, he's racist. He said he don't like white people at his cookouts. That's not what I said. But anyways, Rob Parker is not invited to most people's cookout. Black people. And not Marcellus. And Rob Parker's black. But he's a coon. So there's a difference. These are the dudes who get to... And Skip Bayless is a bum. Okay? The motherfucker Shannon Sharp tried to give Klay Thompson credit for being such a selfless, him and Curry for being able to stay together like this for so long. And of course Skip Bayless come in and like, oh, well, it wouldn't have worked without Klay because he's, for one, Klay is not the player that Steph is. Everybody knows that. Klay knows that. But if you listen to, I loved it when Shannon was like, don't let this man try to deceive y'all, America. And ripped off Steph Curry facts. It's such a shame that that's what's allowed to be on TV. Skip Bayless, somebody who is just hell bent on tearing down any legendary player's legacy because they ain't Jordan and they ain't Tom Brady. It's really a shame. And the fact that TV networks continue to have these old heads, you know, still working so much and so prevalent on these TV shows and shit, it's just so wild to me, bro. Like, I grew up a wrestling fan, and I'm still a huge wrestling fan, so I'm much with the you adapt or die. Okay? He who does not adapt is he who will be left behind. Okay? He who does not adapt is he who will perish. I don't understand how these networks continue to make a living off of hiring these old heads, these archaic, ignorant, thought-thinking motherfuckers. Like, how is Mad Dog Russo on TV? How do people want to listen to? Well, I do know the audience of people that want to listen to that bullshit. I do know that type of audience. The type of audience that want to hear Mad Dog Russo talk is the type of people who was working, thousands of hours back in the day for 10 cent, 10 cent an hour, and because they had to work stupid and harder, they feel like, we should be appreciative and do the same thing. So we should be appreciative and go through that same hill. Even though everything today, is advanced and things of that nature, it's we worked harder than y'all. So, that's the type of motherfuckers that want to hear Chris Russo talk. But ultimately, not ultimately, but in saying all that about Marcellus and these motherfuckers who get to question legacies and shit like that, I want to talk about this thing that because what really did bother me is the fact that he tried to shit on. And I saw a tweet where it was like Steph Curry, the only player that people some reason take shots at because he make teammates better. Because Steph Curry can make teammates better, people hate him for that for some reason. And I told you, it's because of this sports media has driven in your head that all these dudes were able to do it alone. LeBron James won all them championships by himself. Kobe won all those championships by himself. Dwayne Wade, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, all these guys won these championships by themselves. So how dare Steph Curry be able to have great players around him, good players around him, and win championships? How dare his team be good enough to hold up their end of the bargain around Steph Curry in a team sport and win? How dare he? But let's break that down, since we believe all these legends won alone. Since the media like to preach to you that all these dudes won alone, and that's why Steph Curry is not great, because he didn't lead a team to a championship. He didn't lead, he's always had great players around him. And I done already talked to y'all about that, how people like to view Clay and Dre in a completely different light than they view him now. Like they very revisionist history, and I love how the media like to turn Clay and Draymond into first ballot Hall of Famers back in those times, just because that's what they are now. But let's take a trip down all those players who won it by themselves, okay? Because Jordan won it by himself, right? The dude that Skip liked to talk about so much. And that's odd, because Jordan never won it before he had a Scottie Pippen, right? And the Bulls team didn't just have a Scottie, right? They did have great role players like Paxton, Kerr, Rodman. That's Oak. It's interesting. LeBron James. He definitely won all those by himself. Oh, but he had a dude named Kyrie Irving who was able to not only hit a big time shot that ended up winning him his only title in Cleveland, but a teammate in Kyrie who went for 40 along with him in a game in the finals. Had Kevin Love, a perennial all-star at the time. That's a Hall of Fame. That's crazy. But in Miami, he won by himself. Oh, shit, wait a minute. Except for he had a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest guards all time in Dwayne Wade. And he also had a first ballot Hall of Famer and one of the best power forwards at the time in Chris Bosh. Not to mention, they also had great role players over there in Miami. They also had a first ballot Hall of Famer in Ray Allen. Okay. Well, you know who won by himself? Kobe Bryant. Oh, wait a minute. Kobe Bryant had Shaquille O'Neal. Derek Fisher was a great role player. Robert Horry was a great role player. But when Shaq left, he won it by himself. Oh, wait a minute. Then he had Pau fucking Gasol. Oh, that's interesting. Then he had motherfuckers like Lamar Odom, Shannon Brown, Trevor Ariza, Sasha Vujacic, Jordan Farmer. That's interesting. But you know what? I just thought about it. Larry fucking Bird won by him. Kevin McHale, Bill Walton. Fuck, never mind. He didn't. Oh, Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson and them Lakers. Yo, Wait a minute. Magic Johnson and them Lakers. Oh, yeah, because Magic Johnson had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and James Worthy and all those other great Lakers. Okay, well, fuck. Who? Well, this makes it very hard because the players that everybody liked to use against Curry all had other Hall of Famers beside them with each and every single one of their championship rings. Fuck. Tim Duncan. Oh, wait a minute. Tim Duncan not only had the greatest coach of all time in a lot of people's mind, he had Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, David Robinson. Fuck. I mean, who is the... Oh, Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, best player on most of his teams. He didn't have no help. My boy won... Oh, wait a minute. He didn't win a championship. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. That's right. No fucking body wins alone. There has never been an NBA great that won a championship by themselves. Were they the best player on the team? You damn right they probably were. Were they were the best highest scorer on the team? More than likely. But did they win that thing by themselves? No. Because every single great in the NBA that won a championship had help. Nobody wins it alone. This narrative that the media like to paint, that the media like to preach, that they love to sell to y'all, is just false. It's just not true. And that's the reason y'all talk about players and the game the way y'all do. That's why y'all refuse to appreciate every player. It's not hard to appreciate these dudes great. Do you know how hard it is for these motherfuckers to go out there and do what they doing first off? In the big man's game, do you know how hard it is for Steph Curry to go out there and average what he is averaging in the finals? And for them to just sit around and wait for him to have a bad game so they can shit on this man. Do you understand how unbelievably disrespectful and just low that is? We are not taught to do that at any level in sports until these motherfuckers get big time. And then it's because they are not humans, because they make so much money, so now we can do this type shit. Do you understand how ignorant this is? I see motherfuckers at low level basketball average like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points, and people heap them with praise. But these motherfuckers in the NBA doing what superstars doing with the LeBrons, the Currys, the Kobes, the KDs, the Giannis's, and motherfuckers just... And listen, understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying these dudes can't be critiqued on their games or nothing like that. But this continued thing to shit on... Mind you, you can critique somebody and not say nothing stupid like, oh yeah, in this one bad game, that's his legacy. This series, that's his legacy. It's just very odd to me that these dudes can get on TV and tell you that a player's entire career's work is for nothing, in their opinion, just because of a bad game or a bad half or a bad series or a bad year. Do you understand how absolutely unbelievably fucking stupid that is? It just makes no sense. Just like the sermon that they continue to get up here and preach to you guys, that everybody does it alone. The Miami LeBron James is one of the greatest players I have ever seen. He needed help to win championships. Do you want to know what happened when those dudes on that team with Miami LeBron that first year, when they didn't show up in the finals and provide the help that the best player in the NBA needed at the time? You know what happened? I'm pretty sure LeBron apologists know because, they use that for LeBron, but don't use it for anybody else. Anybody else whose help don't show up, it was their fault. But let somebody not show up for LeBron James, and oh my goodness. Because LeBron apologists like to make you believe that LeBron just played with absolute trash cans when he won those championships. Even though you can do a quick Google search and see all those Hall of Famers that the man won championships with. But either way, do you know how fucking stupid it is and listen, to me, when I say how stupid, it's really, it's like they test our intelligence when they get on TV and say the shit that they say. That's really what it is to me. It's like they don't believe us as the viewers who consume the game of basketball are smart enough to understand that somebody can have a bad game and that not affect their legacy the way these motherfuckers talk about. And it's so crazy to me that you can take away from a man's legacy off of, or a woman's. But I'm just specifically talking about NBA right now. That's why I said man. But how they can try to take away something from these motherfuckers' legacies off of like the stuff that they deem like. Because I was listening to like motherfucking Rob Parker and them motherfuckers try to say like, oh well, Steph Curry, he really shouldn't win Finals MVP because Andrew Wiggins just was performed in the most important situation. And that motherfucker Chris Broussard was like, wait a minute. If Steph Curry don't drop 40 fucking 3 points in the previous game, Warriors go back down 1-3 in the Bay. Yeah, but Andrew Wiggins in Game 5, if he don't, Andrew Wiggins had 26 points. Steph Curry is averaging 35 fucking points. What are you talking? Yeah, but Curry, will he be missing the clutch shots? Every clutch shot Curry missed in those losses, Andrew Wiggins missed too. What are you talking about? Yeah, but I just think Andrew, do you understand the levels that these goofs are willing to go to try to discredit these legendary players' careers? Is that not I understand that these networks only care about money, and when I understand that, that ultimately that's when you realize none of this shit that I'm saying matters to them, because the bottom dollar is all that matters ultimately. But I just urge the public to be smarter about this, bro. This is not the way. This is the new media. That's why the new media that Draymond is talking about, I can't wait till them motherfuckers take over, because this old media, it's just a problem. How do you sit and watch a game, right? You're watching one of the greatest players to ever do it, but you're not watching him to legitimately just watch him be great or to just see what happens. You are legitimately watching him to want him to do bad. Like, you are watching him because you want him to be bad. You're wishing, hoping he does bad. What is that? And these is the motherfuckers who get to get on TV and talk about shit. And these are the same motherfuckers who get to tell you that Kevin Durant is soft when he responds to dumb takes that they have. I just don't understand. But if nothing else, y'all have to get out of this mindset of everybody wins a championship alone. Like I said, that LeBron James in Miami is one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my lifetime. He needed help. That unanimous MVP Steph Curry is one of the greatest players. It's actually weird because that Steph Curry is one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my career. In my time watching basketball. But this version of Steph Curry the last 2 years done been one of the best players I've ever seen too, because of how he took his game. But it's the same with LeBron, because LeBron in Miami is one of the greatest players I've ever seen. But then after Miami, playoff veteran LeBron became one of the greatest players I've ever seen in my life. So it's crazy how players like that got multiple stages of greatness. It's pretty wild. But nobody does it alone. All those players need it. I am the biggest fucking... Kobe Bryant is my favorite athlete of all time. Kobe needed help. When you are a fan, you're not yelling at your player, oh, Curry need to play. We're yelling, somebody give him help. When he out there dropping 30 plus fucking... Somebody give him help. this notion that which is wild because every LeBron apologist, all they ever talk about is how LeBron don't got no help. Like, I just really want y'all to understand, nobody wins alone. I understand the NBA is a sport in which the sport it shines a spotlight on individual players, and it is nothing wrong with that because each team does usually have a best player, a franchise face of the franchise player. Yes, you can have every championship team usually had those two, but you always have that face of, like, y'all understand what the fuck I'm saying. But so you can have that, you know what I'm saying? And oh, wait a minute. Hold that thought. We on break. Yes, I gotta lay back and enjoy this motherfucking I wanna go to the moon. How can I get through? Hey, this motherfucking fresh air, my guy. Yo, I used to have a mattress that was so fucking hard, yo. I'm telling you, I had got a furnished apartment, and the mattresses that they had in there, bro, it was like queen size beds, bro. It was a good size bed. It really was a big bed. But the mattress, bruh, the mattress was like bricks. Every night, man, I'm telling you, every night it felt like I was laying down on a pile of bricks. I remember one time I tried to jack off on my whoa. I remember one time I was handling some personal business on my mattress a long time ago, and I swear I thought I about popped my fucking hip out of place on that brick hard ass mattress, man. It was a real shame. I had to put so many covers on my mattress, like, to try to soften that shit up. And then I had started working at Kohl's for a little bit. And I don't remember if Kohl's sold mattresses. I don't think they sold mattresses. Yo, I don't know if y'all know this. I don't know who shop at Kohl's. Kohl's got some pretty fire ass clothes for cheap. During spring sales and shit, and markdowns and shit. I'm just telling you, you can find some fire ass fits and clothes that I don't really say fits because I don't wear fits. Yo, do y'all know somebody who is like a thrift shopper? I had never met nobody who was a thrift shopper until I had moved to Durham like a couple years ago. A long time ago at this point, like 6 years ago. But my brother Coach, that motherfucker is a thrift shopper. But that motherfucker is so crazy because he finds some nice clothes in the thrift shop, but it's not even what he find. The motherfucker can rock almost anything and make it look nice. And then my ex used to be a thrift shopper. Now, I went thrift shopping with her like 3 times. And one time we went to this raggedy ass thrift shop, bro, with her and her best friend. That was a trash ass experience. I do not, I would never do that shit again. That was a trash experience. I was miserable the entire time. Is break not over yet. I wanna go to. I don't want to get mad. Oh man. Bro, what we think gonna happen in part 2 on what's happening on the next part of Stranger Things, yo? What we think gonna happen with that? This air really do feel good, I'm trying to tell you, man. We got like 10, 15 more seconds for break, man. I gotta find a song. You know how Pat got the boom. I gotta find some shit, yo. I gotta create me an intro that's got some bounce to it, you know what I mean? Got a drop to it. And before I come off a break, while I'm coming off a break, I would just like to say, for all you Madden players out there who hate Madden and you think, you know, you trying to hang on by a straw and you thinking to yourself, oh, because Mr. Madden died, you know, and they dedicated the cover of the game to him this year, that this is going to save the game. They're going to, you know, make a game for John Madden, you know. Yeah, you're fooling yourselves. This is a marketing ploy. Just like 2K when Kobe died, they threw him on the front of the case because they knew motherfuckers was going to buy the game. This is no different. Madden is a franchise that refuses to adapt, that refuses to grow. What Madden says, what EA, the developers of Madden, does is create new. I don't even know at this point if they can continuously create new, but their whole agenda is in what's making them the most money, and that is MUT Team. And because MUT Team makes them money, that's their focus. They don't give a fuck about franchise. They don't give a fuck about exhibition. They don't care about nothing on that fucking game aside from the motherfucking MUT Team. Nothing else makes them the money that MUT Team has. So those days of creating a game that's just fun for everybody to play is over. They are making a game for competitive MUT that makes them money. They could care less about you motherfuckers that want to have a good time playing franchise and experience a dream of creating your own team and, you know, relocating them to some cities that ain't just already predestined on the map and shit. And, you know, if you want to move your team to little old Iowa, fuck you. You know, they don't want to do none of that. They don't want to take deep dives into the game. They don't want to have a fucking field that's like equivalent to like the park in fucking 2K. Just imagine if these lazy motherfuckers at EA would sit down and create something like the field, where you have a nighttime and a, you know, just nice ass fields where motherfuckers can just run around online and fucking play each other on like 7-on-7s and shit like that online and shit, just street ball type shit, instead of that dumbass KO mode of the yard and all this other stupid shit they keep putting on this fucking game. And I understand that I am fucking up chances to ever get a sponsor by EA and Madden, but I'm perfectly okay with that in order to get you motherfuckers a better game, because this is unacceptable. Some people been playing trash ass Madden so long, or just in like they only done been alive through like bad Madden. They've only played Madden through all these trash ass Maddens. They never got to experience those Maddens back in the day. Like, everybody talk about how bad Madden is, and then immediately they be like, ESPN or 2K football was great. No, 2K football was a good game. It was not the best football game of all time. Madden 12 was better than that, so I don't know why people continuously tell you that that's the best football game of all time. I played that 2K football game with T.O. on the front of it to death. It is one of the best football games I played, but it's not the best football game I played. But some motherfuckers will never even knew that you Madden used to let a motherfucker create a stadium, put it wherever you wanted to put the team at, created the like statues on the stadium, created the end zone, created the fan, created the jerseys, the color schemes, all that type shit. You can do none of that now. Everything is a preset option. The same preset options that's done been on the game for like the last 10 fucking years. Madden franchises literally copy and paste every year. And these motherfuckers told y'all coming into this year that the updates they was gonna make in Madden's franchise was fucking scouting. Scouting is what they wanted to update. Not you relocating and being able to create a team. Not you being able to create logos and create a fan and actually have more in-depth halftime shows or more in-depth stuff to do throughout the week leading up to the game. Not stuff like that. Scouting. A simulation tool. Because it wasn't like they was going to create a scouting thing to where you could actually go and watch college players play or no shit like that. Just scouting, a simulation tool. So, for all you people out there who think that Madden is going to create a good game this year just because Mr. John Madden passed away this year, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but it ain't going to happen. Madden going to be the same trash-ass game it's done been for the last couple fucking years. They're going to make new MUT cards to make money and keep selling you the same bullshit game every year. And as long as they have a monopoly over the NFL license, and the NFL license don't give it out to no other true company to create an actual great simulation football game, this will continue to be what happens. And this will continue to be the product that you get. They'll keep creating these goofy ass covers. Mind you, who the fuck is still even buying hard copies? Like, people still buying hard copies? I thought everything was mostly people was going digital now. I haven't bought a hard copy of a game in about 10 years. Everything I buy on my for a video game is digitally. So I just wanted to, let Madden fans or Madden fans hanging on by a thread. I just wanted y'all to know, if you got high expectations going into this next Madden, just go ahead and cut them shits. Pop that. Because this is going to be the same fucking game you got last year, but probably worse than what you got last year. Anyways, back to our regularly scheduled programming. So, like I was preaching to y'all earlier, nobody wins alone. You can take any motherfucking player you have, any player that you consider great, and I'll show you the great players that he won with. And don't name a player that was great and didn't win, because that'd just be a dumbass thing to do. But at some point in time, you would just believe that these networks, never mind, you won't believe that, because as long as money is the thing that matters, these controversial dumbasses bring in money. People watch them because it's people out there who legitimately watch them because they just don't like them. But it's actually people out there who tune in to want to be educated on sports. And they will not be, because of these goofballs. And I done said before, I really wish like Shannon and Broussard had a show together. Like Shay and Brew. Also, I'm getting real sick and fucking tired of hearing Nick write, But Brew. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, bruh, Chris, stop letting that motherfucker call you that, bro. Y'all not boys, bruh. Stop letting him call you that, bruh. Them basketball takes really is... See, this is what I'm talking about when I tell you people think that I don't... sometimes they're like, damn, bro, you really hate these motherfuckers. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe I do, bruh. Maybe I do. But I'm just saying, man, these motherfuckers is really a problem, man. It's really a problem. Because we should be... They choose not to praise these dudes and to hate on them as if their legacy's on the line. Like, this shit is unfucking believable. It's unbelievable. And I had to spend the time to talk about... Because to me, this was just far more important than the game. Because this notion that these great players won championships by themselves, so Steph Curry having a team step up for him when he been carrying them the whole fucking series, somehow that's an indictment on his legacy. Somehow him having Kevin Durant wanting to come play with them is an indictment on his legacy, when we done seen so many great players play together and not win because of egos and whatever else. That's an indictment on Steph Curry's legacy. Like, this shit is just absolute. It's absolutely wild. In the history that people... And LeBron stands, you can't win with him, because you can simply point out every fucking dumb thing that they say. You can legitimately rebuttal it with factual thing, and they do not care. They just do not care. It's absolutely insane. But that's sports media. That is the sports media of today. And I don't know how long this is gonna be the face of the media. Like this, not the face of the media, but how long this is gonna be the thing. Like this is what's sell right now. Like I don't know how long this is gonna be, cause this shit really is trash to me, bro. I really don't. It's unbelievable. I just put it like that. And I hope it gets better, because these motherfuckers was really irritating. I get really sick and fucking tired of them shitting on these dudes' legacies, bro, and trying to question all of they. It's irritating. But I want to talk about Jason Tatum. So look, everybody already know. Well, if you don't listen to me, you don't know. I talk about Jason Tatum a lot because I think Jason Tatum a great player. I'm gonna constantly stand by that notion that I think he is a great player. Obviously, I don't think he's a superstar player yet, because I done told you my stipulations on being a superstar player. That's very tough to do. And even then, it can be a, what do I say? An exemption to my rule that helps somebody or hurts somebody. Like either way. But Jason Tatum, I feel like, been getting way too much heat. And I said it before this series started that Jason Tatum was going to like the load on his plate was going to be too much to ask of somebody at his level right now. And I knew this was going to happen, how people was going to start shitting on him eventually. Like I said this was going to happen, and it's exactly what I thought was going to happen. And it's no problem with being critical of Jason Tatum, because Jason Tatum has been bad in certain areas. Because I don't think he done just been bad, but he has. The specific areas that I point out constantly is I need him to shoot far more. I don't care if you shoot a horrible percentage, bruh. I just need you. I saw somebody say today, Jason Tatum got so many turnovers, right? He got 95 turnovers in the playoffs right now. You could cut half of those turnovers down if instead of just trying to pass the ball or continuously dribble into a bad situation, you just pull. You just launch. You're tall enough, strong enough to do it, and you're skilled enough to do it. You take half of those turnovers away if you just say fuck it and shoot the shot right there. I agree with that. The other thing that I said he been struggling with is sometimes in these games he just disappear. He float in and out of consciousness. It's like he here now, he not here later. He here now, he not here now. Like he not at the level yet, or he haven't played long enough or been in enough of the situations where he done learned to be a consistent every single game, every single quarter you will feel my presence. Like the thing about having your presence felt in moments is sometimes if you such a dependent player if we depend on you so many times in moments, then now people really focus on when you don't show up in moments, rather than if you just showed up all the time. Then it wouldn't be like a spectacle when you you know what I'm saying? Now with this jackass media, you can show up all the time and they'll still act as if you don't. So I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about to the real knowledgeable fans, the real hoopers, the real motherfuckers who understand this shit. That's what I ask of Tatum. To be consistent through good or bad, through the highs and lows. I need you to be there. I need your presence to be felt. That's what make the franchise player, the face of the franchise, the best player on the team. That's what make those players that. Steph Curry struggled shooting the ball last night. You still felt Steph Curry's presence. For one, he didn't just stop shooting the ball. He didn't just disappear from the game. He didn't start turning the ball over and compounding the issues. Aside from that, what Jason Tatum is, like I said in the beginning, from the beginning of the series before it ever started, what he going to be asked to do in this series is just going to be tough. And I do believe Boston has a great defense. But Boston is when you are so reliant on defense nowadays, I just think that's very difficult to win with in a situation. I mean, because I don't think defense wins championships anymore. Like I said before, defense in spots wins championships. Defensive moments win championships. You got to score fucking points to win championships at the end of the day. That's the nature of the beast. And Jason Tatum is going to be asked because his team did have some great moments throughout the playoffs, and they have games where they was good. But like, take game 1 in the finals, for instance, where the dudes in that game played so above what they normally do. I said after that game, I don't see Al Horford having this type of game again. I don't see Derek White doing it. Now, Derek White done been decent. But because he done had good moments, because he ain't showing up in moments now, people saying, oh, Derek White, he ain't. But that's because if Jason Tatum, because the Celtics cannot score the way people have talked about, like, I think some people, the Celtics have these crazy outbursts, right? Like, they hit 8 threes in a row in the fourth quarter of the first game. Hell, they had 8 threes. They went 8 for 8 for 3 in a point in time in the third quarter in this last game. Because they had those type of moments, and they average like 20-something apiece for their stars, I know people think that this, and I understand stats and whatnot can tell you that they are this and that. I just don't think they have the pure shooters and scorers that the Warriors have on their side when it comes to their big dogs. I done told you before, I love Jaylen Brown. But what makes Jaylen Brown so great is his aggressiveness. Jaylen Brown is not a pure shooter. Jaylen Brown is not a pure scorer. But his aggressiveness. Now, what Jaylen Brown do good, well, I don't even think Jaylen Brown really is a great finisher at the end of the day. He can dunk, and he can even get a body here or there. But I don't even think I would say Jaylen Brown is a great finisher when he get to the rim. Jaylen Brown, to me, is just a very hyper-aggressive player. And Jaylen Brown can go on hella hot streaks that never last an entire game. But if he can get that hot streak at the right time, at the right moment, he a problem. And one of the biggest problems with the Celtics, which is a thing that, one of the reasons that they give so much blame to Tatum, is because the Celtics, and I said this before in a previous series, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum don't play good together throughout an entire game at the same time. You could see both of these motherfuckers had 20-something points at the end of a game, right? But it's probably because one of those dudes dominated 2 quarters and the other dude dominated the other 2 quarters. But it's never because they both dominated all 4 quarters together. It is very rare that they both go off at the same time simultaneously. That's why it become easier to guard this team. Because when both of these dudes is hot, it's never at the same time. And when it is, they become very difficult to defend. But that happens so very rarely. Either because Jason Tatum's lack of aggressiveness at times. And it's so weird because I saw them showing the highlights. And I said this before. Like, it feel like Jason Tatum was far more aggressive when he was younger. Like, it feel like he just took way more shots and was way more, aggressive. I don't know who got in this man's ear. I remember that year where everybody was like, oh, him training with Kobe fucked up his game. I don't know why. I tweeted today. I really do wonder what would happen if athletes just got rid of social medias and all that and didn't watch the sports networks and all that. Because if I'm an athlete, what really is the benefit of me waking up every day, getting on social media, and seeing a bunch of fucking losers who don't like me just because they wish they could be me and they never could get to where I'm at, either because they didn't work hard enough, and of course to them it's going to be like, I didn't get the breaks that you got. But I'm talking about an athlete. At the end of the day, they weren't good enough at their sport to get to this level. And I have to wake up every day and listen to these jackasses tell me how I suck, how I don't deserve the money that I get, how if I want to go win, that I'm a loser, that I'm a dick rider, that I'm a bandwagon, that I took the easy way out. If I stick around and lose with a bunch of dudes who I know ain't as great as I could be playing with, then eventually they're gonna say, oh, this dude don't want to win, he only care about money. If I'm an NFL player and I want to go sign to get a big generational wealth, because football is not a sport that you can play forever, I'm gonna have to listen and wake up and see fans talk about, oh, he sold out for money, we never liked him, and oh, fuck him for trying to make generational wealth for his Like, what is actually the purpose of it? Imagine if athletes didn't have to go through that on a daily basis. Because athletes back in the day, I always laugh when motherfuckers say athletes in the back in the day was focused. They wasn't on their phones and shit all the time. Okay, but this motherfucker was no social media back in the day. I guarantee you, if it was a social media like it is now, back in the day, athletes would have been on their phones and active on social media, just like they old asses is active on these social medias now. Athletes didn't have the platforms that these athletes have now. That's funny, because I see a bunch of old athletes who didn't have these platforms on these platforms now. It's so very funny. And it's also funny to me that them old heads took offense to Draymond when he said that these old heads talk about how they would have, back in our day we would have got it. Bro, you wasn't the dude beating people up back in the day. Like, all that shit Dre said was a fucking fat boy. He was spitting, preaching, just giving it to him. I'm like, yes. I like that shit. Hey. Break time. We on the home run stretch. It's been a good show tonight. It's been a good show. Nobody wins alone. But imagine, if you will, standing next to your bed, on your deathbed, the dreams, the ideas, and the hopes. And they said, we came to you. Only you could have given us life. Have y'all ever seen that shit? I think that shit TD Jakes, that Instagram, bro. Everybody went through a stage where they was watching a bunch of motivational videos on YouTube, bro. What got me out of that stage was one day I was at the gym and I'm working out, right? And I'm listening to this motivational shit on my phone, working out to the motivational sermons and talks and shit. And I think out of nowhere, somebody had came into the gym with a speaker and they just started playing Young Thug real loud. Now, I'm a big Young Thug fan. And they started playing it real loud. And I'm working out and I'm starting to hear it over my headphones. And especially when you hear a track that you like, if you can just hear it a little bit, you vibing. So I'm lifting. And I'm like, I don't you did. I put the book in the puppet. You did. I'm like, man. And it was from that day forward, I was like, yeah, this shit ain't gonna cut it no more. This motivational bullshit. This ain't getting them pumps right. I said, I gotta listen to bops, bangers, when I'm working out. And I haven't listened to motivational speeches ever since. I was also listening to a motivational video while I was watching one time. Now, some of them is good. The ones that's like not filled with a bunch of goofy, dumbass cliches. But one day I was watching one, and I'm pretty sure this is when I was at AI, but I could be wrong. But I was sitting watching a motivational video one day. No. I wasn't sitting watching one. No, yes I was. No, it was one on the TV that came on. And I remember these two women was talking about it. And I remember one of them was like, it's crazy how all these motivational videos, it just got people working out in them. What if I don't want to work out? Like, what if my motivation isn't to get a six-pack? What if my motivation is just to do better on the finals? What if my motivation is to be a better mom? And I started to think to myself, man, she kind of fucking right. All these motivational videos really is just a bunch of motherfuckers working out and, doing some type of athletic thing. Everybody's motivation ain't an athletic endeavor. And from that day forward, that also helped me realize, like, yeah, this motivational video shit is kind of whack. You gotta want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, and only then will you be successful, my guy. You gotta give up that living shit, man. That living shit is dead. Hey, E.T. is a great day. I love E.T. though. I ain't gonna lie. E.T. I haven't listened to none of his motivational shits in a long time, but when I get done with this, you know what? I'm gonna go see if a banger E.T. motivational video is somewhere. Dead ass. E.T. is a great storyteller. I don't really think it's the motivation as much as it is the motivation mixed with the storytelling. Because I remember, and I'm gonna probably close the show out on this. I remember when I went to church, right? And I ain't been to church in years now. God knows how long. But I remember one time I went to church, right? And I hated every preacher we ever had, basically. I either went to sleep or was texting or on my phone the whole time. I never paid attention to the preachers. All of them was preaching the same shit to me, basically. And all that shit was for old heads, basically. He wasn't preaching in a way that would get through to the youth. He could have had a message that was directly for the youth, and it did not get through to the youth because it was not presented in a way that would be easy to digest for the youth. But then one Sunday, a preacher got up there, and I wasn't paying him no attention at first either, but his energy is what first got me. And then this motherfucker started preaching, but it was the weirdest thing ever because his preaching was storytelling. And he say, now I'm gonna let y'all know right now, all my stories, he said, what he say? I ain't lying about none of them. He said some catchy little funny line to start off. And that caught my attention. The man told like 5-6 stories throughout the entirety of his sermon. And it helped, get through his whole sermon. And it was intriguing, interesting stories that he told with a great passion and flair. So he was great at storytelling. And I'm like, man, this is like the first fucking sermon I've ever liked, like in my lifetime. And I realized it wasn't really the sermon. It was the storytelling mixed with the sermon. His ability to tell a story to help digest the message, to help relate to the message, to give me a starting point, basically, to give me something to visualize. You know what I'm saying? He ain't just scripture, and turn your Bible to this and turn. I don't think that man told me to turn the fucking Bible to a verse the whole time. I think the first thing he did was to quote a scripture and ran from there, bruh. Like the greatest preacher all time, bro. But with that, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Tell somebody you fuck with him. Tell somebody you love him. Golden State. We are not going to Boston just to come back to have to play these motherfuckers again. This is a business trip. We have to close this shit out in Game 6. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. I truly believe Curry is going to show up in a big way in Game 6. I hope everybody else show up with him. I believe they will. I believe we will be hoisting that Larry. Oh, I was finna say Lombardi. I believe we will be hoisting that Larry O'Brien, and Curry will be hosting that Bill Russell MVP award. Hallelujah, Hove. Saint out.
Scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver, pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga, that's what we do. No foundation, we don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends, don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much or how you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo.